Hey gang, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Drop it.
Hey gang, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Drop it.
Oops, I took the wrong one down. Look at me. I thought I'd be better than this guy. Sorry about that. So trying to be all prepared and be professional.
It's your first time, Jason. We get it.
No, it's actually episode 8, guys. There it is. There's my release.
I know. I'm just giving you.
Welcome everybody to episode 8 of Be Loyal to Your Soil. Jason Schultz here with the Beer Money Pulling Team. I know nothing about farming other than I like to eat and I know where my food comes from. I don't believe that chocolate milk comes from chocolate cows. I'm not that naive. Okay, so got Levi Quayle with me here with Organics Midwest, as well as Mike Batson. If you notice, every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Central, we talk about organics, and we've been having a grower or a farmer on with usually an agronomist. Tonight, we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to talk about return on investment with the ROI calculator that can be found at organicsmidwest.com. But before we, I guess, dive into that a little bit, Levi, can you introduce yourself? Tell us where you live. Tell us about your family. If you have any friends, things, what kind of beer you like to drink, things like that.
I like to drink all kinds of beer, not picky. So there's nothing special about that. I'll drink anything. I like drinking anything. I'm from over in the Mesa City area. I'm southwest Mesa City, about 20 minutes. I spent the last decade of my career in retail agriculture, being an agronomist for a co-op. I have a girlfriend that I've been with for 15 years, so very lucky there. And that's about it for me.
15 years and she's still your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's going to be we're going to have a whole other podcast on how to pull that off.
You got to get off the lucky.
Yeah. Welcome to the show. You do have a sweet beard as well. By far, you're going to get some. Every podcast kind of comes up with a theme, Levi, and we usually write something down. So, but don't you agree, Batson? That's probably the best beard we've had on the podcast so far.
I would say, yeah, definitely.
Appreciate it.
Let us know where you're watching from tonight. Again, Levi Quayle here with us, who works for Organics Midwest, as well as Mike Batson as an agronomist. Levi, where were you at before, and how long have you been with Organics?
So I started with Organics last October, so it'd be roughly 6 months ago.
Okay.
And I was at a couple co-ops before then, 2 co-ops, Max Yield Co-op and Gold Eagle Co-op before that.
So, I mean, are you a farm kid? Did you grow up on the farm? Or?
Yeah, yep, sure did. My family farmed about 200 acres when I was growing up. We had cows, pigs, chickens, just about anything you can name. And I think I started driving a tractor when I was 12, and I never got out.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on tonight. Mike Batson, I feel like you're a regular, but that's good. I enjoy chatting with you and keeping up with you every Wednesday. So I called one of my buddies today, and I was like, hey, we need to have a grower meeting. He's like, oh, I've been using that stuff for 20 years, and I'm gonna have you call this one of my pulling friends, Mike, and talk to him in Wisconsin, because he's like, well, what makes organics better than everything else? And I said, all I do is the podcast, and I help with the social media, but I'm gonna have Mike call you. So, Mike, sure. Before we jump into the return on investment calculator, what is the one thing that makes, because if you've been paying attention to the podcast, and you and I have pretty much been on every one of them. But by the way, next Wednesday we're not gonna have a podcast because I'm gonna be in Louisville. So at the National Farm Machinery Show. So we are going to take a week off. So your Wednesday nights will get a little bit better without having to listen to me. But Mike, a lot of people, like here's a perfect metaphor. Coltrane Energy Drink is a new energy drink that's getting into the energy drink landscape, and they're sponsoring Pulling. So I've been helping them a lot. But we're finding out there's a lot of energy drinks out there. There's a lot of people I feel like getting into this. Is it the biologicals, or how would you describe what Organics is to somebody, and what makes it? Why is it better than what does Organics have that these other people don't have?
Sure, it's our diversity and quantity of our microbes. They're live. They're not a spore or a bug in a jug. They're live, and basically the diversity that we have with our fungi, protists, beneficial nematodes, bacteria, and a food source that's very complex with humic, fulvic acid, kelp, yucca plant extract, amino acids, and molasses differentiates ourselves in the market. And the quantity that we're bringing, there's over 800 different species in there, where most of our competitors are mostly bacteria and 20 or less species. And they all have their fit. They all bring something to the table, but we bring a battalion when we come. We bring a supply chain, and helps them get established, because they got to fight their way to colonization. It just doesn't happen magically. So they got to fight against what's already there in the soil.
So I'm going to snip this part of the podcast out, and I'm going to send it to him, Mike, okay? Because he wanted some education on it. No, but seriously, I've been, calling some of my farmer friends. I'm like, hey, I'm helping this company with, with their podcasts, and I really like what they're saying and and if you've been every week, we've had somebody else, it's either been their first year, Mike, their second year, or their third year, and they've had tremendous results, using Organics, and it's been a lot of fun. And I went to the grower meeting in Springville. We're going to host here a couple. Hopefully, I got to get one put together in Wisconsin yet. One in Northern Illinois. I got scheduled for the February 19th. That's a Monday. I'm working on Tuesday, the February 20th for a Wisconsin one, or maybe two. But it's fun to talk about it. But I'm in sales, right? Because I'm a mortgage guy. So I call realtors all day long. Like, hey, it's Jason. You got any borrowers that need a mortgage today? And then I can answer all those questions. But he's like, well, what makes it different? I've been using I've heard about this bug in the jug. I'm like, it's not the bug in the jug. Well, what is it then? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to have Batson call you.
Sure.
It made me feel a lot better. A lot better. So, last week we had Madison and Kyle on, and we really jumped into the website. I mean, again, I just like talking and having fun and being real educational and informative at the same time with the Be Loyal to Your Soil podcast. And we are going to get into the return on investment calculator a little bit. And that's at the organicsmidwest.com website. And that's a lot of fun. But so Levi, you've been with us since October, right? So basically what, 6 months, 4 months, 5 months?
Right. 6 months, a little less than 6 months.
So how many times have you heard, you're selling some snake oil? That seems to be the thing.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories that you can tell yet from individual customers, or are you still you haven't seen a full year yet?
But yeah, and I haven't seen a full year yet. We did a fair amount of trials this fall, and just being able to see and touch the stalks, seeing how they're degrading for the fall product we used last fall is very good. But like you, I've been talking to a lot of farmers, hearing what they have to say, and it's been overwhelmingly positive. So that obviously helps a lot. But yeah, you do get that question a lot. I had that same question when they interviewed me, what makes you different? And what really stuck out to me was it's focusing on things that I have as a problem in the soil, or things that I don't know. And I like the diversity. I like the use rate, because we have 2 million pounds in the top 2 million pounds of soil in the top 6 inches of dirt. And a lot of these companies, they want to do 3 or 4 ounces or something like that, something very small. And it's hard to affect on a noticeable level when you're trying to cut the rates that much. So the diversity, the use rates, it being a live product, that really swayed me, and it's different than anything else.
That's nice. Marty Samuelson, he watches the podcast every Wednesday. He's checking in from Ravenna, Nebraska. He said another nice day out there other than the wind. The weather this last month, the weather, I've never seen swings, extremes in weather like I have. But I was asking one of my buddies on the way home after I made my sales calls a day, and I started calling my friends, and I said, please tell me the ground wasn't frozen and all this snow got melted into the soil. And they said, absolutely. It was it wasn't frozen when all the snow came in. We had about 2 feet of snow here in Richland Center, Wisconsin, where I live, which is like an hour west of Madison, guys. And I'm just happy here because obviously we had a very, very, very dry summer. Marty, we've talked to growers from Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota. I feel like on the podcast so far, Iowa, and nobody had too much rain. You know what I mean? So,
right.
So I'm hoping some of this water gets down in, this moisture, this melting snow. And I don't see it pooling up in the ditches anywhere. I don't see the rivers being super high. So it makes me think that the water is just slowly, as the snow melts, going down into the fields and helping our farmers out for a nice a nice spring, and away we go. So, Mike, before we jump into the ROI at all, I know you're on like every week, but is there anything kind of pressing or new or we should be talking about tonight before we jump into the return on investment calculator?
I think guys need to look at the return on investment with the cost of fertilizer and the way, the grain prices and everything's going. Now's as good a time as any if you haven't tried the product to give it a shot. It works on a lot of diverse soils. Basically, we treat the soil, and whatever crop you grow is going to benefit from it. And traveled 8 states through the company, and I've seen it on from blow sand to peat soils. And we've got something in our mix that works on every soil. I haven't run across anything where we don't have something that we show an improvement on year over year.
Yeah, I love it. And that's what I was trying to explain to my friend today. But like I told him, I knew I was doing the podcast with you tonight and work with it and take it out from there. So Marty Samuelson, yeah, let us know where you're watching from tonight. Let us know how the weather is. Marty Samuelson says, saw somebody try to pull a cattle catch pen into a cornfield today and got stuck 25 feet in.
Yeah.
Marty, I'd like some video of that. That would probably could go pretty viral, if you know what I'm saying.
As dry as it's been, I'm sure they're glad to put up with the mud, even though it is a bitch with cattle.
Well, I saw a Facebook meme the other day. It was like, Mother Nature, please either freeze or dry out. Like this, because it feels like spring already. And I'm a little worried that we're not out of this yet. These weather patterns can change, but you know how it goes. You guys know how it goes. Jenny Honig's checking in from Knoxville, Illinois. So she's the one who keeps an eye on me, Batson. So I got to be nice to her.
There you go. Yeah, we all got to be nice to Jenny.
Exactly. She's actually, it's pretty easy to be nice to Jenny.
Yeah, exactly.
I just need to behave. So again, welcome to episode 8 of Be Loyal to Your Soil. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter right now. It's called X now, but we're live. A lot of Beer Money Pulling Team channels, as well as Organics Facebook page. And then for people that don't catch us live, they can go back and watch us on Facebook, or we put this on iTunes and Spotify as well under our Let's Grow Pulling podcast. And we have a Be Loyal to Your Soil segment in there. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna share the screen here. I'm gonna put the website up. We're gonna kind of talk about that a little bit. Give me 1 second. You've been doing a lot of like trade shows, Mike, and stuff?
Yeah, we've had quite a few. I think it's going to start slowing down a little bit for the Midwest group.
Okay.
I think we've kind of about hit our rounds. I'm sure the Farm Machinery Show in Louisville is coming up. I don't know if we're having a booth there or not. I don't think the Midwest group is, but maybe Mid-South or Pennsylvania's going to be there.
I have some Organics Midwest swag that I'm going to be giving away in our Beer Money Pulling Team booth next week. I don't know if Mid-South is having a booth or not. I know Mid-South was somewhere at a farm show. There's so many farm shows segmented in different parts of the country.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I follow a lot more. My algorithm's putting a lot more farming stuff now on my Facebook feed because I've been sharing all the organic stuff. So it's been fun to see all that. So guys, I'm at the website right now, organicsmidwest.com. I'm going to put this in the comments for everybody. Click right on it. And it's pretty slick. And I think this just got up. I don't know how much you guys have used it yet. I think Madison and Jenny just put this on the website maybe in the last couple weeks. So I'm not 100% sure. But if you want to follow along with us in the comments, organicsmidwest.com, ROI calculator, or basically just go to the website and click on ROI calculator. I'm hoping everybody if you can turn on your computer, you can find organicsmidwest.com and you can find the ROI calculator. So if that sounds good there. So let's kind of go through a scenario a little bit on how this works. Mike or Levi, who wants to run point on this? Who wants to talk to me? Tell me what to type in.
Okay, I'll take the lead.
So I got corn or soybeans at the top.
Well, let's do corn first, and Levi can work on the beans, or we'll just work together. We'll just work together on it.
Go team, Mike.
Yeah,
go team.
Exactly.
So I clicked on corn.
Yep, hit corn there.
And what's my target yield?
Let's just use 200 for easy figuring right now. And like I said, it's really easy.
It's super easy to move these numbers. Okay.
It's interactive. So it's just a slide. You don't have to punch any numbers in. I like that. I'm about simple.
Expected crop value.
Yeah, I looked that up a little bit ago. North Central Missouri was 429 for October, and Levi, what did you see for the fall?
I saw about 430 for new crop in my area.
So I'm going to put 440 in. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Organics yield impact. What does that mean to a
that's
simple?
That's basically how many yield improvement we're showing.
So like 8 bushels an acre in theory. Is that what that's saying?
Yeah, that's what that's saying is. You can slide it back and forth. Normally we see anywhere from 3 to 10 the first year is a range, and 7 to 8 is kind of pretty average.
Okay, so I'm going to put 7 in there if you don't mind.
Okay.
And then total acres in production, I think I'm going to leave the 500 in there.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of first timers, Mike, with all the podcasts we've been having, a lot of people like to try 500 or 1,000 acres that first year. You know what I mean? So
you bet.
And then that drop down on your right, you can either pick the fall product or the spring product, or fall and spring.
Okay.
But then you might want to, if you did fall and spring, you can maybe tweak your yields a little bit. I don't know what you think, Mike, but
yeah, you could.
You guys want me to pick? You guys want me to pick the spring or fall and spring? Or what do you want me to pick?
Hit the spring right now.
Okay. Let's scroll down a little bit.
Okay.
So I got removal rates. N means nitrogen, right?
That's correct. And as you change your yield goal at the top, that will change across there. That's basically the removal rates per bushel of grain.
All right.
For the acre, per acre.
I wanted to slide one of those and show people what I was talking about. This is cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got mortgage calculators, Mike, to do the same thing, Levi. I deal with these all the time, so this is fun.
You bet.
You're used to it.
Used to a slide rule.
I know I ask every week, but what's P and K mean again? What do those stand for?
Phosphorus and potassium. Phosphate and potassium.
Got it. That's like going back to like 8th grade, like element of charts or something, isn't it, Mike?
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly.
Levi, do you remember that from middle school?
I do, but I was a fertilizer salesman for 10 years, so you have to know that.
So like when you guys say NP and K, it's like FHA, VA, USDA for me. That's how it works.
There you go.
Sometimes I feel stupid hanging out with you smart guys like this. I feel a little, but luckily I'm high on self-confidence, guys. Levi, Mike, so I'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll overcome it.
I'll overcome it. Current inputs, Levi and Mike.
Jason, this works a lot better if you have a beer in your hand.
Well, I came straight. I'm at our podcast studio, and I am going to have a drink tonight when I get home. I will be honest. There's usually a beer in the hand of one of my guests on the Be Loyal to Your Soil. I don't know, Levi. Do you have a beer in your hand at all?
Not right now.
Mike, what do you got?
I'm lonely. I just got a water.
Okay. I'm going to make a vodka and soda when I get home. I just full transparency.
There you go.
I just spent $65,000 on new windows for my house, and they're getting installed this week. Shout out to Pella Windows and their 5 years no interest financing. Thank God.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, no. I said to my wife, babe, we're staying here forever now. Like, you understand that, right? She's like, yes, I do. No, seriously, it's been great. I stayed out of it. I just filled out the credit application and said, do what you want. So, but I got to see a couple of them. My dog's been barking all day because there are people in the house making noises. So.
Right.
Yeah. Chuck Hobbs checking in. He's checking in from Harmon, Illinois. Chuck's a tractor puller as well. He's coming to the farm show with us. So thanks for watching, Chuck. All right. Sorry. I have ADD, guys. I'm sorry. You got to focus.
Okay. Nope, that's all right.
Current inputs. We have 175 pounds.
Yeah. Go ahead and move your screen to more up to the net where it showed the removal rates. Let's just put removal rate fertilizer on there.
Okay.
So put your P and K at the 64 and 44 on your slide rule there.
Okay. So right here, I can't adjust these.
You can't adjust the removal rate, but you can go down there to
No.
current inputs.
Okay.
Well, you don't want to leave that because that's what they're currently doing, right? And then at further down, then it would show your reduction down a little bit more.
Yeah, I was just going to show if we left it at removal rate, but that's fine.
Okay. So you can see removal rates on the screen, guys?
Yeah, it's the one. Yeah,
what changes removal rates is if I change this up here. If I change the bushels per acre, my removal rates will change.
That's right. I was just talking about the current inputs. That's basically what fertilizer you would put on.
Okay.
If you wanted to put more than.
Should we leave
removal
current at 178 or 175? That's what was kind of the put in there for nitrogen.
Yeah, leave the 175. What do you think, Levi? Just to show.
I would say that's kind of my area. Yeah, 180 to 200 pounds is not super uncommon. We have guys that do less, but.
All right. So I'm gonna put 180 in there if that's okay for nitrogen.
Okay.
I agree with that.
That's a good number.
Phosphate, we got 75 pounds or phosphorus or whatever you guys call it.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty common rate too. 70,
Levi, are you okay
80
with
pounds.
that?
Yeah. Yep.
And then 50 pounds of the other one
potassium. I would probably bump that up. Most people put on more than that.
What number would you like to see there, Mr. Batson?
I would say 100 pounds.
Okay.
We can play with it and just see what the numbers look like here.
Yep. Okay. That's maxing it out there. Input price, I got 60 for nitrogen, 40 for P, and 25 for K. Does that feel right? Or
what do you go ahead and use your prices, Levi?
Okay. I had 60 cents for anhydrous or for N.
Okay.
65 cents for P.
Okay.
40 cents for K. And those are just based off of what my prices were last fall.
All right. And then input reduction, I got nitrogen at 40%, phosphorus at 50, and then potassium at 50.
Yeah, I would say first year out, I would put 10% across the board. Let's see what that number looks like. What do you think, Levi?
Yeah, I think even you could go 20% on the nitrogen, don't you think, Mike, if you're at that high of a rate?
Yeah.
15 to 20 even.
Yeah.
I'll put
whatever you think
in there.
Yeah, I like that.
Mike, what do you like for the
I'd move that down 20% as well, P and K. We'll release that much back.
All right. So I can go up here. So down the, so do I kind of go back up to the right here?
I
don't want to make
my screen lower. Go lower on the page.
So should I go like? Okay.
Just go to the bottom there. It'll show you return on investment there per acre in that circle.
Okay, so I got $44.75.
That's correct. Yeah, and
Total
then it's showing your total on the 500 acres, what that would be.
It would be the 22,000.
Yeah.
So that is fantastic, and you've seen this. That's what's great about Mike. You know, you've been around, Levi. I know you're just getting started, but you guys, Mike, you've seen this physically in your growers' fields. This has been awesome.
Yeah,
so
we've got guys that are doing more than that on the reduction, but comfortably 10 to 20% the first year with what I've seen.
No, I like that a lot. It's good numbers. Do you want to? So that was on corn, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That was on corn. So we're looking at return on investment of $44 an acre. So I want to write that down. So I'll go up and we'll just kind of go through a bean scenario. Is that okay, Mike and Levi?
Sure. You bet.
Let's do it.
Okay. So soybeans, I got target yield is 60. Tell me what you guys want me to use for a target yield there.
Yeah, I think leave that there. And like I said, we see probably on average 4 to 5 bushel yield increase. We'll plug that in there in a second. My local cash price for October next year it was say $11. What do you see, Levi?
Okay. Mine was 11 too. Yep.
Yeah, that's October of 24.
I put the yield impact of 5. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I like that.
An extra 5 bushels per acre, and then total acres of production 500 again. We're going to use spring product because that's where we are right now.
Correct.
And then current inputs, we got nitrogen at 0. Is that still correct?
Yeah.
Okay. P and K, what do you guys want there? I got 40 and 70 right now.
What do you think, Levi? I think that's kind of a
If you did 100 on corn, I think you'd do 100 on the beans too, if it was me, on the K side of things.
Yeah.
On the K?
Okay. Yeah. You do that.
So you think?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
But you're with phosphate, you're okay with 40 pounds, Levi?
40 to 50 pounds.
Yeah. I think a lot of my guys would do something like that.
I'll put 45. We'll meet in the middle.
Here you go.
So input price, and I should have this be 0. Well, it's going to do the math anyway. 40. I got 40 cents for P and 25 cents for K per pound, guys.
65 cents for P, 45 cents for K.
How much for K?
45 cents.
45. Okay, thank you. And then input reductions all at 10%. Is that okay, or do you want me to move those around?
Let's see what 10% does on the return on money.
Okay.
So we did 20% on corn, I believe, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, let's see what 10 is, and then let's go back and we'll back it down to 20.
So 10 shows us $42 in ROI an acre on that. So corn was at 44 and beans were at 42.
You bet. Now let's plug them in at 20% reduction there.
Yeah, that helps a lot. So we're at 40, almost $50 an acre then with beans.
Yeah.
On this scenario at 500. So that's awesome. So you're increasing your bushels per acre and you're decreasing how much other stuff you're putting in your soil, basically in English, right?
That's correct.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think Levi, even a guy without a beard should be able to talk farmers into putting this on. Don't you think, Levi?
The beard helps. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I know.
Yeah, they can probably do it.
Yeah, it makes you look like a real farmer. I like that. I like that a lot. If you're watching, if you have any other scenarios that you want Mike or Levi to play with, type them into the comments. Let us know, and we'll punch them up there for you. Otherwise, you can do this yourself at organicsmidwest.com and then click on ROI calculator. So it's pretty neat there. I like this. It's neat. The website, your guys' website's awesome. I'm not just saying that because I work for you. I mean it.
Yeah,
it's
they're
like legit.
right. Yeah, they're working on it all the time, so it just keeps getting better.
So last week, I was with Madison and Kyle, and I was looking at the results tab, and this was kind of fun to see. We've shared this some of the pictures, and this is something, Levi, you'll have next year. With some of your growers. These are what do you guys call these, sample plots or cards? I've heard people call them different things, but really like the true side by sides. So,
sure.
These are some of the ones. These are on here. The roots is really a thing I've noticed, and then obviously the size of the leaves. This is really cool.
It definitely builds more root mass.
This is neat here. Right after side by side fields after vertical tillage, and you can see the Bio 800 plus the untreated there, and there. That's pretty awesome seeing. Again, all this is on the website. So
yeah, and that 200 bushel corn. The residue with the nutrients that's tied up in that corn stover is at today's price is over $120 an acre in fertilizer just laying there. So if you can get that to cycle in quicker to get it back in the soil profile to be ready to take up for next year, it's just putting that money back in your pocket faster.
That's what it's all about. You can say you love to farm, but you also need to live too and make some money. So
sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. Do you, Mike or Levi, do you have any stories, like any aha moments for a farmer or a grower Do you have anything like that just pops off like, holy crap, this really does work? Anything like that? I know, Levi, you've been with the company since October, so that's not fair to you yet. But I'm assuming you've been out into some growers and farmers' fields, and you've seen the test, you've seen the side-by-sides, I would assume, if you've been around since October. So
Yeah. So like I say, well, I took a couple bags just of the residue home with me. You know, they're just hanging up, just trying to see the differences for myself. And you could definitely tell when you snap those stalks in half on the treated versus untreated, they'll snap on me. And then the untreated, when I go to snap them, they're just like a rope. You know, they don't pull apart. They don't break apart. They're not decomposing like the other stuff is. So
nice.
Doing something like that, it's really nice to be able to put your hands on it, see it, get your hands a little dirty with it. So that's good to see.
I like it.
And usually you can split stalks eventually, and it's decaying all the way through, not just on the outside. And the lignin part of the stalk is the toughest part to break down, and we see activity on that pretty quick. And like I said, it eventually will snap, and you can definitely tell it by walking in the field, or like I said, grabbing a handful of the stalks and breaking them. It's totally different than leaving it alone.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I just, like you said, the proof is in the pudding. I think that's the one thing I've heard over and over and over again, Mike.
Sure. Yeah.
Talking to people. And that's
all our tests have shown on the stalks is in about 4 weeks' time, we're starting to cycle the nutrients out of the stalks and getting it back in the soil.
Yeah. Mike, do you have some people that, like, you know, are you, you know, the farmers, the growers from year 1 to year 2, you're seeing them pick up more acreage? You got anybody just going all in, or do they kind of double it that next year, or what are you seeing, Mike?
Kind of what we see as a whole is the guys that buy 1 year, and when they buy the next year, usually about, I think it's 2.2 or almost 2.3 times more acres, you know, so it's doubling and growing all the time. Like I said, I think somewhere what I had heard, I don't know exactly, but I think company wide somewhere between 1 million and 1.5 million acres this year is what they're expecting.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And it's working. It's working well. It's working well. Levi, what area are you kind of covering again? I know you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, but for people coming on later, I want them to kind of know what areas you're in.
Basically smack dab north central Iowa. So I'm halfway in between Des Moines and St. Paul, right in the middle of the state, right by Mesa City here.
Nice. Nice. Good deal. Well, Mike, Levi, do you have anything else that we can talk about? Or we talked about the return on investment calculator. What do you guys got kind of going on? What are you seeing with weather forecasts? You know, when will you see some of your growers start hitting the fields?
In the southern part, I would say we'll see some activity, field work, maybe start in the middle of March, and then it would progress farther north as we go. But I'd say Kansas City south, you know, the guys will start putting on anhydrous and stuff as soon as it thaws out and breaks out. There's not a lot of frost in the ground in that area, just it's wet, but it won't take long to dry out. And that's kind of what we're seeing. Fertilizer will start going on and get started anyway.
Good deal. Levi, what do you see for that north central Iowa time frame? When do you see guys start working?
Typically, if we get in early April, that's pretty good. I heard a guy talking today. He might try to do some tile here in a couple weeks. So we'll see. But I think there might be we might be able to do something here in March. But yeah, most of our field work is going to start that first week of April at the very earliest.
The biggest fear, though, is getting your crop in the ground and having to get cold on you, right? Or freeze. Yeah.
My neck of the woods, it is.
No, it's legit. I mean,
yeah.
Because obviously, the longer the growing season, the more bushels you can grow, but you also take a big chance of losing the whole freaking thing too, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Planting will start in our area in Missouri, probably depending on what the ground conditions are. Usually the first week of April, and keep progressing from there. But.
Good deal. Well, if anybody has any final questions, please type them in the comments. If not, you can head over to wholeorganicsmidwest.com. There's a contact on there. Everybody's email's on there. The whole company's email's on there for the thing. You can send Levi an email. Tell him he's got a beautiful beard. I got to get Jenny. I told Jenny's going to make a T-shirt from because I've heard The fence row dirt, Mike, that was one that came up on one of the shows we were on one night. The dirt that's been the fence row dirt, that hasn't been all turned up and wore out. And then something about sticking a spade in it. And then what was someone heard? They've been pretty good, Mike. They've been pretty good. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, Levi, thank you for joining us on a Wednesday evening. Again, people can find this on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. We're everywhere. We're always live on the Organics Midwest page as well as the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association page. So thanks for watching. You guys stick around with me for a little bit. I'm going to wrap up the stream and play a little video. And then I want to talk to you two gentlemen for just one more minute. So sound good?
All right. Thanks.
What's going on? That's not supposed to be like that. Like you're supposed to go away when I push the button.
I see.
That's what's going on. Good old internet.
Hey, gang, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Drop it.